We are ready and willing and able. Let me go to the
Aye, aye,
screams of
Captain.
penile anguish is the thing. It is the Kezu. You must look at the majesty.
Kazu, no.
That is the Kezu.
People are gonna see
Behold.
that picture and be like, oh, never
What the
mind.
hell? Well, nobody says you have to be fancy.
we
Oh,
we fancy. Oh, there's Kazu. Yep. Hi, Bean.
Kezu. Hello, Bean. What's up, everybody? This is episode 2, podcast stuff.
Woo.
Super fancy with cool gamers. We got Liz, we got Wolf. You know, casual shit. Uh, what are the topics today? I had shit ready for this.
I had a PowerPoint.
I had everything prepared. Uh,
You did. You did.
we are going to talk about our personal game of the years, probably Game Award shit, and probably hardcore disagree with them in some cases, and our least,
Mm.
our best and worst game genres in terms of game. We could do it in terms of gameplay, or we could do it in terms of just enjoying them. Uh, which one do you guys want to start with?
Whatever you want, man.
Do you have a Game Awards list?
I
Because I
do
don't
have
remember.
I do have the Game Awards list.
All right, let's go through that.
Okay, so at the start of this list, we have best game direction. We got Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Immortality, and Stray. And Elden Ring won that, and I kind of agree.
What does game direction mean?
I I don't know. That's the worst part.
Yeah, but
I
you
would say,
agree.
like story and how it progresses and stuff like that. Maybe
I
like
mean,
the direction that it went. Maybe I don't know.
yeah, all right.
I played Elden Ring. I didn't beat Elden Ring, but I also watched somebody play through God of War, and I loved God of War. Like the whole story, the progression, like it just all felt good. So for me, I would say God of War, even though I've played Elden Ring, but I could also be misinterpreting what
I
game
don't I
direction
don't know what game direction means.
means.
All right, what's next?
We got best
I
audio
want to get to
design.
something I can argue with.
We
Best
got
what
best audio
design?
design. Audio design. We got Call of
Audio
Duty,
design.
Elden Ring, God of War, Gran Turismo, and Horizon Forbidden West, and God of War
Oh
won that.
man. Well, I really fucking love the realism of getting tinnitus when you're shooting assault rifles right next to your head.
You know,
So
can
I think
relate.
I'm gonna go with Call of Duty on that one.
I don't know how I feel about audio design.
I feel like, I mean, God of War had great
Gotti.
audio. Like, God of War had good design. No, God of War had really good
Yeah.
music cues. Like,
Oh yeah.
they did me that whole game was great.
I also
I
like
wish
Elden
I
Ring's
would have
music.
watched. I wish I would have watched a playthrough of Horizon Zero Dawn because I feel like they probably had a lot of really good music too. Because the first game had some really good music. But I can't really speak for something I haven't played or
Yeah.
seen any gameplay of. But
Also,
I feel God of War was a good pick for that.
Didn't
to
God of
me,
War win that one? It did win like 5
yeah,
awards.
God of War
So
won. I
you
think
get
won a
like
like
ton,
6.
yeah.
I think it won like 6 or 7. This one I
that's
do
just
not agree with
fucking
is
crazy.
Best Indie, Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, and Tunic. And Stray won that. I think Cult of the
Whatever.
Lamb, Sifu, or Tunic should have won.
Well, you're wrong because Funny Cat.
Funny cat. Cute,
I'm
cute.
sorry I have ever had a difference of opinion, and I will continue to
It's like
do
when
that.
you watch America's Funniest Home Videos and you think anything but the baby video is gonna win. You're just
Oh,
wrong.
yeah.
I'm
There was a
sorry.
puppy though.
Yeah, no. Baby video wins every
Baby
time.
video.
Cat game wins every
Every time,
So
like every
stupid.
time, like every
Every time.
single time.
Every single time. I was
No,
like,
no
dude,
difference.
Pac-Man.
that dog was the cutest, funniest thing I've ever seen. Nope, baby.
It
Screw
should have been Cult of the Cat.
Cult
That
of
might
the
have won.
Cult of the
Maybe.
Stray.
Maybe. Yeah, no, Stray. I watched somebody play a little bit of Stray, and it's a cute game, but I don't think it's Game of the Year worthy. But Call to the Lamb, I absolutely adored. The music in that game, holy shit. Like almost every single song from that soundtrack is on like my favorites list
I also
on
like
Spotify.
I naming it.
Loved the music in that game.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like naming my cult after my friends and then sacrificing them repeatedly. And it's really
How many
nice.
times have I died now?
At least like 3 or 4, but that's beside the point. All right.
I keep coming back, baby.
I will say for Stray, the game is very visually impressive.
Yeah.
For an indie game, especially, it does like have AAA polish.
I will agree with
graphically.
that. Yeah.
Except like the cat models are a little weird sometimes, but like getting animals right is weird. So
right.
I don't really fault them too much for that. So if we're going from like a technical standpoint, then maybe Stray deserves to win.
Yeah.
I also think there's something to be said for Neon White. I've never played it, but the game looks fucking sick. I do want to play it at some point.
I'd say for my indie, I really like Tunic and I really like Cult of the Lamb, but I like Tunic just because, I mean, obviously a lot of people saw it and they were like, oh my god, it's just a stupid Legend of Zelda clone. But the best part about it is that it's in all the guides and stuff are in a different language, and you're just kind of set into the world and you kind of have to figure stuff out yourself. And that's where I had the most fun, was just kind of exploring and figuring out stuff myself. So that was really exciting.
It looks adorable.
Yeah.
It's on my wish list, I think. It just looks so cute.
Was Vampire Survivors not on that list?
No, it was not, and it should have been.
What the fuck?
It should have been.
What the fuck?
Vampire Survivors would have won easily.
All right, I won't get into Game of the Year spoilers, but that surprises me.
Yeah. Okay. We got Best Role-Playing Game. We got Elden Ring, Live Alive, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Triangle Strategy, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And Elden Ring won that. Not a surprise.
Shocker.
But I really liked Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
And I like Xenoblade 3, but that game was a fucking drag. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. The progression in that game was not super well thought out.
But funny anime characters.
Sure. And like I'll give it that it was way better than Xenoblade 2.
Not a hard bar to reach.
It's not really saying much.
Bar's pretty low on that one. It's nearly touching the ground.
So, like,
on the ground.
The game, I just remember because I used the mechanic where you level yourself up, I was screwed out of getting job levels for the entire fucking game. And it was it was not great. I felt like nothing was changing. I was never unlocking any abilities or anything. Like, my characters were leveling up and stats were improving, but that was about all that was happening. So by the end of the game, I got super bored of it.
That's why I'm glad you told me.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of classes.
Yeah, if I knew going in that it was a fucking trap to level up at campfires, then I probably would have enjoyed the game way more.
Yeah.
But, so that's a warning to anyone playing the game.
Yeah. I feel like Elden Ring is a good choice for that one, but personally, I absolutely adored Arceus, but I'm also a little bit biased on that.
I was gonna say
I don't think it would ever have won in that category, but that was my vote, 100%. Arceus was just such an enjoyable ride for me.
Best action adventure. We got A Plague Tale Requiem, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Tunic. Now, I'm going to go with God of War because I've also played Tunic. I haven't completely finished Tunic, but I love God of War. I love the action in it. I loved a lot of shit about God of War. I didn't play Horizon, and A Plague Tale Requiem I also heard was extremely good, and maybe I'll get into the Plague Tale series at some point.
I didn't play any of those. I don't know. The friends I was watching the Game Awards with said Plague was awful.
Really?
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're high. Maybe you're high. Maybe everyone's high.
I was gonna say maybe we're all high on something.
Bruh.
Yeah. Well, we're not high on life.
Yeah, no, let's not talk about that one.
Yeah, that's a downer. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think I played any of them either, but I think um like I said, I watched somebody play God of War and I absolutely adored it. And I wish I would have done Horizon because I feel like that would have been a second for me because I like the Horizon universe. I like the robotic monsters and stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like it has a good story. So I feel like that one would have been a really good one too. It came out at such an unfortunate time.
yeah.
Horizon did.
A week
I
before
feel like that
Elden
was its
Ring.
like biggest downfall.
That it's like the same thing with the original Horizon, is that it came out like the same time as Breath of the Wild. So
Yeah.
and they also get like,
They have bad
and
timing.
yeah, Forbidden West got released a week before Elden Ring, and I'm like, what did you expect? People were immediately gonna drop Horizon when Elden Ring came out.
Yeah, Elden Ring was talked about for like ever before it even came out. Like I didn't even know what Elden Ring was,
Right.
but until like my friend was like, "Oh my gosh, are you getting Elden Ring?" I'm like, "What the heck is that?" And then like that's all that I heard about for the next couple months was Elden Ring from so many different people, and I was like, "Dang, okay, I guess I gotta check this out." My computer can barely run it.
There is something
It's
to be said for how hyped up Elden Ring was,
Yeah.
how it didn't flop. Because
Yeah,
like
and how much it delivered.
usually a game that's hyped up that much, just fucking like
doesn't live
it's
up
like
to it when it
yeah,
comes
it's like
out.
a
Yeah.
whale on the beach. It's
It
just
crumbles under the weight of
fucking
its own
bad.
expectations, is basically what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, like the I was ready for it to be like a Duke Nukem Forever situation.
Oh no!
And everyone's just like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
That would have been
Right.
that would have been the worst case scenario.
But it like it lived up to people's expectations enough. Most people I talk to have played are like, "Oh my god, it's the best FromSoft game." Sometimes people like say that they like Sekiro or
Mm.
Bloodborne, but like apparently it's definitely better than all of the Dark Souls games.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I I enjoyed Dark Souls 3 more, I think. But I've also played Dark Souls 3 a lot and
Yeah.
beaten it a couple times. Elden Ring it's a great game, but like I definitely found myself a lot of times being like, okay, what do I do next? Where do I go next? There's not a lot of direction, which isn't a terrible thing. Like that's what it's meant to be. It's an open world. You can do whatever the heck you want. Um, but also like that when you have so many paths that you can go down, sometimes it's overwhelming,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So that
It
for me kind of hindered it a little bit, but it's still a great game. Obviously, one
I think
with your
it did deliver on being an open world game because often when you're like, what do? I need to find something to do. You did
Mhm.
actually find something,
Yeah.
which is a problem in open world games where you're trying to figure out something to do and you're literally running around for 20 minutes
Right.
in a fucking
Yeah.
barren wasteland. And that was never a problem in Elden Ring. So I'll give it huge props for that. I
For
still
sure.
am not I'm not a huge fan of open world like in general.
Mhm.
Um, but I think Elden Ring did execute it very well.
All right. The
Yeah,
next
for sure, for
category
sure.
is Best Ongoing: Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact.
Genshin Impact.
I've only played one of these games, and that well, actually no, I played a few of these,
I've
but
played a few.
the one that I played the most, well, first off, Final Fantasy 14 won. Uh,
Mm.
that's
Yeah.
the
That's
one
not
that
really
that's the
too
one that
terribly
I
surprising for me.
played the most. But also,
Yeah,
I'm
I've
not an
played
MMO
a
fan.
few
I'm just
dozen
not.
hours. I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
I can't
I don't
play
know. If you
MMOs.
like Final Fantasy 14, you're like a fucking freak for that game, though. Like,
Yeah,
it's a very polarizing experience.
Mhm.
I can
I
see.
gave it an attempt just for the fact that I really like Final Fantasy, obviously,
Mhm.
but I can't
Yeah,
do MMOs.
I didn't play any of those, and I have no like want to play any of those. So I have like no opinions whatsoever, other than like I don't like Apex. I don't like Fortnite. Like those are I've tried Fortnite. Okay, I lied. I've tried Fortnite and I just those like battle royales, I just don't they're not for me.
Yeah.
They're not my style. And like yeah, I don't know. I have no real strong opinions either way.
The people that I know who like battle royales often say Apex is the best one.
I think that's what most people say also to me.
Yeah.
Bean
It's
says
definitely-
Genshin Impact.
Genshin Impact. Best community.
What is even ongoing in Genshin? They just like add more boobs to it once a month, right?
And then
Yeah.
they throw primo gems in your face and then are like, get the hell out of my sight. And then
Yeah, and you
and
like
that's
have
what they do.
dailies and stuff you have to do or whatever. I don't know. I played something similar to it, and I don't understand the hype around it.
Yeah.
Like those the gotcha games or whatever they're called. I don't know. Not for me.
Best community support is basically all of them, except the difference is No Man's Sky. So it's Apex, Destiny, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky. I have not played any of these games recently, and from what I've heard, No Man's Sky has been turned around for the most part.
Oh my god. Can we talk about the turnaround for No Man's Sky? Holy shit.
I don't know.
Can we talk about how that game went from the most hated game ever and having like the worst experience ever to turning it around and being like, "Oh my god, they actually do care." Like, oh, it was awful when it started because
Yeah, I played it on release.
Yeah, I was super into No Man's Sky, and I loved it on release. Like a lot of people didn't, but I'm pretty easy to please, especially when it's just simple. I like
It was
open
Ark
world.
Survival Evolved quality.
Yeah, but in space. But they promised so many things. Well, the thing was they promised so many things when that game first came out, and none of it was there. And that's because this is this tiny little indie company that Sean, I think is his name, like him and 13 other people are making this game, and Microsoft is like, no, you're getting it out at this date, you're I don't care what its state is, blah blah blah, and they had to push it out. So they pushed out an unfinished product, and obviously people saw that and they were like, this is ass. Why did I pay $60 for this game? And then,
Definitely
a year.
Was not a $60 game on release.
No, it was not
No,
a $60
it was not.
game on release. We can all agree on that. But then, like, Sean goes into radio silence, because if you watch anything about this guy, he is so reserved, and he's so, like, he's such a shy guy, but he has such a passion for this project. Like, he's adorable to watch. He really is. But he's definitely not, like, a press person or, like, he's just so reserved. And so he goes into radio silence for like almost a year, I think.
A shit ton of false promises like coming up to the release.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know.
It was terrible.
Too. If I was like caught on camera lying for 2 months straight.
Yeah, and he had to. Like Microsoft made him. Like it was such a bad situation. And he went into like radio silence for a year about it. But all the time he was like, working on doing these things to the game that he did promise. He's like, he comes out one day and he's like, hey, I know I've been silent. We've been working on this. We're going to do so many free updates to this game to get it to where we promised it was going to be. And he did it. Like, he has added all these things. He just needed more time, which Microsoft wasn't giving him. He had to push out this product because they're paying, his bills and shit. And, like, it's finally to a point where, it should have been day one. But, I can't believe that this game was so poorly received at first, and now it's seen as such a good game. Like, most games would never have that.
They wouldn't have the turnaround,
one in a million. Like, that whole story is just insane. And he's adorable to watch. You guys should look up like videos of interviews with him. He's adorable. He's just so shy, and he's cute.
Okay, I don't know what this next cat. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No Man's Sky for me.
I played some of No Man's Sky.
Was this ongoing games?
This is best community support. This is community support.
Oh, community support? Okay. What does that mean? Does that mean like the player base or the?
You are asking the wrong person.
Yeah, what is that referring to?
You're asking the wrong person.
What are the Game Awards? Are the Game Awards even real?
What is happening?
What even is games, right?
I think these people just like saying the names of video games over and over.
The next confusing one,
like, think about this shit,
is best innovation and accessibility. I don't know what the fuck that means, but
I know what that means.
As Dusk Falls, God of War Ragnarok, Return to Monkey Island, The Last of Us Part 1, and The Core. I've only played God of War.
Didn't The Last of Us win that one?
No, God of War won.
God of War 1? Okay.
That was one of like its 18 billion achievements.
Yeah. Well, I think there were like options to like visualize sound cues.
Oh, okay.
There were like colorblind options. There were a lot of really good accessibility options.
Okay, that's cool.
Accessibility boils down to like blind deaf players most of the time. There are other things, but that's mostly what it boils down to. Are there options to turn colorblind modes on? Are there options to do bigger text? Are there options to make sound cues visual? Things like that.
Huh.
Visual sound cues are really nice.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
They added that to Fortnite. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe Fortnite should have won that category.
Maybe Fortnite's not so bad.
They should have put Fortnite in that category.
I'm just so over shooting games, like expecting you to fucking blow out your ears so you can hear footsteps. It's like,
you don't want tinnitus? What?
What do you mean?
I have tinnitus. I don't want more of it. You know, it's like, yeah, the shit's awful.
That's enough slices.
But in Fortnite, you can just have it like, just show you footsteps with a visual cue.
Oh, that's nice.
Cool.
More games should do that for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay. Here is best score in music. This is a tough one for me because I like a lot of the music in these games. A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War, Metal Hellsinger, and Xenoblade. I have played 4 of the 5 games on here. God of War won, but I think either Elden Ring or Xenoblade. Xenoblade's music was really good to me.
I'm kind of biased to metal guitar, so
Metal Hellsinger was also really good
gonna
too.
Win it for me.
Metal Hellsinger's soundtrack is also really good. I'm not a big like hardcore rock fan either.
I don't think I ever even saw what that is. What is it called? Metal
Hellsinger. It's basically like rhythm doom, essentially, is what it is.
Ooh. I feel like I would like that a lot.
It's really fun.
Of everything, though, I only really can say anything for God of War and Elden Ring. And yes, Elden Ring has great music, but it's more of that, like, operatic, orchestrated kind of stuff. Yeah. And whereas God of War is more of just the orchestra stuff. So I gotta go God of War with that because I'm not a huge operatic kind of person. But that's just me. They both have amazing soundtracks, like no doubt.
Your opinion is respectable, but Chain Attack. So therefore, you are incorrect.
Oh my god! I liked Chain Attack for the first 3 hours. I was using Chain Attack.
I never got tired of Chain Attack. I never got tired of that.
I'm happy for you because I definitely turned off the music and turned on Spotify.
I was dancing. I was dancing to Chain Attack. I'm like, hell yeah, 1,000,000 damage. Here we go, baby. Stop with your health bar advantage.
Xenoblade.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never got into Xenoblade, so I never.
Xenoblade 1 is very good.
Yeah.
I recommend playing Xenoblade 1 Definitive on the Switch specifically. Xenoblade 2
is a video game of all time.
If you're a degenerate, you'll love it.
Yeah.
So
if you don't have any respect for video games, then yeah.
Okay.
I like Metal Hellsinger's soundtrack a lot. I'm not a big like hardcore metal fan, but that music was really good. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is good. I mean, these are all really good options besides the Plague Tale because I don't know what that is, but you know. Elden Ring music is really good. God of War's music was obscenely good. Metal Hellsinger is good. Xenoblade.
I wish they had an indie category, and I wish Cult of the Lamb was in there. Because, oh man, when I tell you I love Cult of the Lamb music, I love it. It's so good. It hits every time. Silk Cradle, whoo, gets me pumped. I love it. Anyways.
Okay, we got most anticipated game. This one is what I'm curious for everybody's opinion on.
Most anticipated game.
Final Fantasy 16.
Is this a Game Awards thing?
Yeah, this is a Game Awards category.
What the fuck? They're doing trailer categories now?
Yeah.
Whatever, keep going.
Final Fantasy 16. Hogwarts
I
Legacy.
swear the 24-hour news cycle has destroyed media as we know it.
Resident Evil 4. Starfield, and Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, and what a shocker, Tears of the Kingdom
Tears
won.
of the Kingdom, 100%, yeah. 100%. The others, who cares?
I only really care about Tears of the Kingdom and 16. That's all I really care about.
Bots fucking putting me in shambles. I don't know how you guys like these games. It's okay though. It's okay.
Yeah, you're
People
not an open world
like
fan.
things.
You said.
I'm not, and also like Breath of the Wild is so empty.
I mean, I don't
really
like.
Is empty when you sit
Wild.
down and actually like play it. Like I love Breath of the Wild. I really enjoyed my time with Breath of the Wild, but it is empty, 100%.
Also, the things that make it not empty don't even like feel like anything. Like you get a Korok seed and you're like, I'm so whelmed. Like,
I'm whelmed.
Who the fuck? Who the fuck cares?
I only have 999 more to go. Oh, yay!
Whoa.
Sorry, this isn't a rant about Breath of the Wild stream. People can like what they like. It's fine.
You only need about 350 to do what you need to do.
If even that.
Yeah. Are we skipping Content Creator of the Year? Do we really care?
I don't.
I like Ludwig. He's cool.
I said Ludwig is great. He was at the Wolfie Pokemon Invitational yesterday, and it was really funny.
He also ran a Pokemon tournament.
Yeah.
Not a Melee tournament.
He also ran he ran two Smash two Ultimate and two Melee tournaments.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Ludwig, even though he doesn't need my shout out.
His original community.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree, Bean. I got you. I agree.
Okay. Best action game: Bayonetta 3, Call of Duty, Neon White, Sifu, and TMNT Shredder's Revenge. I've only played one of these games, and Shredder's Revenge is it's nostalgia bliss. First off, I love beat 'em ups, so it was pure it took me back to a time when I was in the arcades playing the TMNT beat 'em up games. I love Shredder's Revenge.
10 of 10.
I still want to play Neon White.
I
don't know, this Game Awards, this is weird for me, because, I have not been playing any games from this year.
I
or
really
from
haven't
last year.
either.
Yeah.
I don't, out of all those, I've got nothing. I got nothing for you.
I love, oh my god, I will rant about hours for how much I love Shredder's Revenge, because it's such good beat 'em up heaven. I wish they had a beat 'em up category, and to be fair, there wasn't a whole lot that was released this year besides
There'd
that.
be 2 games in it a year.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
Yeah.
But it'd be a fight.
It would be a fight.
Cowabunga.
We got best multiplayer. I was surprised we got Modern Warfare 2, Multiverses, Overwatch, Splatoon 3, and Shredder's. First off, shout outs to Shredder's Revenge for even making it into this fucking category.
Didn't Multiverses win that one?
No, Splatoon 3 won it, and that was the biggest shock to me.
Shockingly, yeah. I figured it would be
shocked.
like Call of Duty or
so
something.
Well,
but
you didn't like Splatoon 3?
No, I liked
colorblind. Colorblind, and the colorblind
enough.
options that they have don't do it for me because I only see black and white.
Right.
So I tried really hard in Splatoon 1 because it looks so fun and I really want to play it, but I can't. I just can't, unfortunately.
That's why accessibility is a cool category.
Very much so.
Yeah. I'm not a huge Splatoon fan, but
neither am
people
I.
I've never seen people so into Splatoon as I saw people into Splatoon 3, which implies to me that it's the best one.
Yeah.
That or it released during COVID.
Yeah.
People needed something. People needed something to do.
Yeah, it does kind of change the dynamic a little bit.
I've only played Multiversus, Splatoon 3, and Shredder's Revenge, and I think I want in my heart wants to vote Shredder's Revenge, but I know it was not going to win.
Yeah.
I hadn't even heard of that game until
my heart wanted Shredder's Revenge to win so bad.
Aw.
Best sports racing. Who cares? We're gonna scroll past that.
Oh, God. Yeah. Speaking of best worst type of games.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
my
no.
worst.
Do we care about Games for Impact? I haven't played any of these games.
No.
I don't even know what that means, so you can skip it.
I was skipping that. Best art direction: Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon, Scorn, and Stray.
Elden Ring, super fucking crazy. I would go with that one.
Elden Ring won, by the way. No shocker in that front.
Yeah, they
the like Bloodspore area and the fucking like gothic castles and I don't know.
There is something that the FromSoft games do really well, and it's world building and like filling that world with just weird shit.
There was no way anything else wins. There's no way.
No, they've just got such variety, and FromSoft games do it good.
Every area is unique. Every dungeon is unique. Every cave has some sort of maybe gimmick or uniqueness to it that just makes you.
All the tombs did look the same.
Yeah, but
the little
some of them,
or whatever they called them.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them were, I feel like, copy-pasted. But there were a lot in there, too.
There was so much to that game, I can't really, fault them for it. Also, the gameplay did vary in those tombs a lot. There were, weird,
different
you ride
mobs that did different things.
You ride Geats blades up to a secret area to press a switch to fight a different boss than the final boss of the dungeon.
Right.
We're gonna skip best VR because, VR.
Beat Saber. Fuck you.
Beat Saber's not in it.
That's all I play.
Beat Saber's not.
Beat Saber's the only VR that I play.
We got best sim strategy. We got Dune Spice Wars, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Total Warhammer, 2 Point Campus, and Victoria 3. I have not played any of these games.
I'm sure Rabbids won.
It did.
Wow.
Shocker.
Shocked Pikachu face. Yeah.
Insert another shocked Pikachu face.
There's a lot of those with the Game Awards.
Yeah.
I hear good things about Dune Spice Wars from people who play those games, but I don't have the attention span to play strategy games most of the time.
So you're saying Doom Spice Wars? That's what I'm
Dune,
hearing, right?
Dune.
Okay. Because I heard Doom Spice Wars, and all I'm thinking is Doom Slayer, with the Spice Girls going to war, and I was like, what is this game?
This is the best game of all time. This is the game of all. This is my favorite game.
Are we having metal and pop at the same? What is going on here?
Yeah.
Low key, I'd play that.
We got best narrative: A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon, and Immortality. And God of War won. Not a fucking surprise.
Yeah, not shocker. They did well with their storytelling. Absolutely great.
It's at the point now where all of the big, we don't even really need to talk about the big categories because we all know what wins and we don't need to talk
God of War and or Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Best adaptation: Arcane, Cyberpunk, Cuphead, Sonic 2, or Uncharted. Uncharted, throw that down the cliff, but nobody cares about Uncharted.
Have you guys seen Arcane?
I have not.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I loved Arcane. I hate League of Legends. Hate League of Legends, but Arcane's art and
Arcane is
visual effects. Oh my god, it was beautiful.
One of the best things that people say, it says a lot about Arcane, where you don't need to understand the lore of Arcane to enjoy Arcane. You don't have to understand League of Legends lore to watch Arcane, and that's what's great. That's what I think is really cool about it, and I will probably watch it at some point.
Oh, you should. Oh my god, it's beautiful.
Same thing with Cyberpunk Edgerunners. I am a nerd, and the only thing that I've seen on this list is Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and I really like that movie. So
I loved Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Tails is my boy.
Tails
I
is adorable.
fucking love Tails.
Knuckles
I did
is
kind of creep my jeans
funny.
when Jim Carrey flossed.
Oh my god, yeah. We don't
Knuckles-
talk about that.
Idris Elba as Knuckles
Knuckles
is
is
one of the
fucking hilarious.
most unexpected castings that I loved, actually. I didn't expect him to be that good. I did.
Yes.
The basis of the
Yes.
ball.
Yeah, Knuckles was so good.
He was
I
great.
have been a Tail fan since like day one, and I started my Sonic journey at like Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast. So I'm not like old school Sonic fan, but oh my gosh, I love Tails. He is
Okay.
my favorite.
So,
And he's so cute.
best debut indie. We got Neon White, Narco, Stray, Tunic, and Vampire Survivors. I will say Vampire Survivors should win any category it's in, because Vampire Survivors is
Fucking
so
good.
good. It's so good. Like-
That is electric heroin.
We could have a stream talking about just Vampire Survivors, and because
I'm gonna go with Tunic because cute
it's
little
so
fox.
good.
I
Vampire
haven't played,
Survivors.
like-
Vampire Survivors
What's
is
that
cracking
category
a
again?
video game. Best debut indie.
Okay, actually, link me this list. I wanna
Okay.
be looking at
Okay.
Debut.
Yeah,
You
throw it in
indie.
the Discord.
It is thrown in the
Uh,
Discord.
There we go. Debit. Best debit indie.
It's more down towards the bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think we're getting
I used
close to
Control
being
F. I would say Vampire Survivors on this list.
Vampire Survivors is it's
Like,
so
I
good.
can understand Stray from a technical perspective. It is
Yeah.
very impressive. I mean, Tunic had a lot of thought put into it.
Yeah.
I can't believe these are all debut games.
Yeah, I know.
This was a strong year for indie games.
Yeah, it
kind
really
of
was.
sucks that the Game Awards is so slanted towards.
I also think that Vampire Survivors came out in like
liberation.
October. I think Vampire Survivors came out like October or November. So it was towards the
Yeah.
end of the year. Although if it came out like around the same time Stray came out, it probably would have won best debut indie, honestly.
Well, I mean, it was in early access for like a
Oh, was
year
it?
before that. Though. Yeah, people were playing it for a while before its like 1.0 release date.
It's so addicting, and the fact that when you realize that like the game dev also worked on like slot machines and casinos, you're like, it fucking makes sense. That game is like
Yeah.
crack. I have to stop myself from playing it, otherwise I'll be up until like 4 a.m. playing it. I have to like stop myself from playing it. Do we care about best performance, or do we want to give an 8-minute speech about why Christopher Judge is good as Kratos?
No.
I
I think
mean,
that's yeah.
yeah,
He did awesome. Like he deserves the award. Bada bing bada boom.
very good voice actor.
Next question. Best family is Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Lego Star Wars, Mario plus Rabbids, Nintendo Switch Sports, and Splatoon 3. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I haven't beaten it yet, but I have been playing it, and it is extremely fun.
That's good to know. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played a Kirby game like seriously since I was like playing Magic Mirror on my Game Boy during nap time in preschool. Which is not to like put down anyone who enjoys Kirby. It's just like a reality of how I've played video games.
Yeah, it's your reality, not everybody else's.
I've never played a Kirby game.
You would.
They're,
Never.
fun.
They are extremely fun.
Yeah, this new one, it looks adorable and
It's super.
something that I would probably very much like. Just, yeah.
Well, Kirby's in it. What do you
Never.
expect, right?
Yeah, he's
Kirby's-
right. Kirby's adorable.
I don't know how I feel about. I played a little bit of Lego Star Wars and Skywalker Saga, and I was like, eh. My brother has played Mario plus Rabbids, and
Combos.
he'd probably be in there he'd probably be in here yelling about how much he loves it if he was in here. But Nintendo Switch
Switch
Sports
Sports was
died.
Brother also loves Mario and Rabbids. Maybe that's just like a little brother game.
Maybe
Yeah.
Maybe.
Winner of the best family category.
the little brother category.
Mm.
Yeah.
Apex Legends Mobile, It's the next category is best
mobile
mobile game,
games.
by the way.
Yeah.
Apex Legends Mobile, Diablo Immortal, Genshin Impact, Marvel Snap, and Tower of Fantasy. I'm not surprised that Marvel Snap.
I'm surprised.
I've heard nothing but good things about Marvel Snap.
Yeah.
I don't like mobile games, so I can't.
Most people don't.
That is the opposite of the truth. I think the mobile market is technically larger than the console game market.
Wow.
It's more casual.
It's a lot more
People
accessible.
talk about it less.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
It is definitely like if you're trying to make money in the gaming scene,
mobile is not the way to go.
Crush Saga. You don't make fucking Elden Ring.
Yeah.
It's a bad return on investment.
Yeah, I can't game on my. It's too small of a screen, and for somebody with visual problems, it's not. It doesn't work out well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the next category is, I say, one of my saddest because like I didn't really like a whole lot of fighting games this year that came out specifically this year. We got DNF Duel, we got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, King of Fighters 15, Multiverses, and Sifu. One of the things that I do, a lot of the people were memeing on is that Sifu's in the fighting game category, but it has a lot of like fighting game mechanics in it, like parrying and like matchup shit and knowing when to spacing, all that blah 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 blah, and whiffing a move once and dying. You know, it's fun. It's a fun time.
I don't know if Multiverses is in the fighting game category. I feel like Sifu can be in it.
Yeah, exactly.
And Multiverses fucking won.
Yeah, so. Multiverses won.
I mean, I haven't played any games on this list, which is weird because I like playing fighting games, but I don't know. I really wanted to play KOF 15, but I didn't want to spend money on it when I didn't know anyone else playing it, and no one else wanted to spend money on it either. So it just kind of passed me by.
Okay. I don't think any of us play esports games.
No.
Valorant.
I'm not surprised Valorant won, though.
Valorant.
Valor.
I did play Rocket League for a little bit.
Yeah, we did play Rocket League for a little bit. Rocket League is very fun. Guys, I'm a cool Counter-Strike gamer. I do the knife thingamabobber or whatever the fuck it's called.
Knife thingamabobber.
I flip the knife and I win. I'm scrolling the player's voice. I'm scrolling the. Yeah, no, because actually,
what does player's voice mean?
I don't know, but Genshin shouldn't have fucking won it.
Player's voice.
I think player's voice might have been like the like a survey.
Yeah, didn't Genshin like give people things?
Yeah,
for
Genshin bribed it. Yeah.
Yeah, like that should have been a like. It should have not been in the category because of that.
It should have not been allowed, period.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it disqualification.
The funny thing about Genshin is that, like, they're constantly like, hey, guys, here's that they wanted, like, here's our 800 Primo Gems. You can't even do a 10 plus pro with 800 Primo Gems. They won Game of the Year and then they spat in your face, is what they did.
Oh, no.
They were like, thanks for the vote, losers. And then they just... we can skip to Game of the Year now.
Yeah.
I think I love, don't get me wrong, I love God of War Ragnarok. But Elden Ring far exceeded everything. Like, it blew God of War out of the fucking water, in my opinion.
I'm still gonna have to go with God of War for me. For, like, just personally... playing Elden Ring and watching God of War. I enjoyed God of War better. But I also like story-driven games a lot. And if there's a good story there, it's got me. So, yeah, God of War had it for me.
I think the only thing I, like, played through on this list is fucking Xenoblade 3. Which is probably not my game of the year, but I did enjoy it.
Well, that's right. The next thing will be our personal game of the year. I would also like to practice it by saying it doesn't have to be a game that came out specifically this year. It could be a game that you just played this year.
Just a game I played?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes it easier. Okay.
You can go first, Wolf.
Okay. I played Yakuza 0.
Understandable.
And that game's fucking fantastic. I love that game. Yakuza games are real good. I'm gonna play through the whole series. It's like the perfect blend of like tonal whiplash, and slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the Yakuza games are just so fucking good.
I've heard really good things about
them.
Yeah,
they are very good. One of the things that I'm excited about is I'm going to get an external hard drive on my Xbox, and I'm going to play all of them. Like,
let's go.
If I could keep the games that I want to still play on my Xbox and download all of them, I probably would. But I cannot do that. So
yeah,
I'm going to get an external and download like all of them and play all of them. Probably see like an order to play them in, and then just do that. But yeah, I wholeheartedly agree on Yakuza. Yakuza's very good, and I'm excited to play all of them. I have played a tiny bit of Like a Dragon, and I'm really excited to get to that one, which will probably be the one that I played last. But all right, Liz, give us your very obvious game of the year.
First of all, I agree with you, Blue Kazooie, about the Elden Ring God of War thing. But game of the year for me, Rag told me I can't say Arca. Even though I play a lot of Arca. But no, my game of the year is Legends Arceus. I absolutely adored Legends Arceus, and it's probably the nostalgia, and it's probably because it's the game that I always wanted as a child, like from Pokemon. Like, the open world aspect, Pokemon like being able to attack you like personally and not just your Pokemon. Like, everything was so aggressive. The Paras were ridiculous. Everything just had so much personality. Like the fact you could just throw out your Pokemon and like chill with them, and like, it was a new take on Pokemon that needed to happen, and I'm so glad it did, because it was just the game that I've always wanted out of a Pokemon game.
It is,
and like they added crafting, like, bruh, it's not perfect, obviously. There's things that they definitely could add more on and like change a bit, but for me, it was a fun game. It was just a fun game.
Yeah, but also
shiny sounds.
Shiny sounds.
Shiny sounds. Bring it to frickin' the new Pokemon game. Come on.
One of the things that I have, of all of the Pokemon games that have been released recently, I have heard more good things about Arceus than bad. Like all the other Pokemon games, it's mostly just bad shit. But like, for Arceus, I've heard
Pokemon fans
mostly
are
positive.
also insatiable.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
Coming from a Pokemon fan.
I was gonna say.
Are.
Yeah.
Like, everything is negative. They can't be happy with anything. Like, nothing is ever good enough.
I mean, the Scarlet Violet release was pretty rough.
Yeah.
But
no doubt. But it was also fun.
Yeah.
It was the most fun I've had with a game since Gen 5.
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was really fun.
What Pokemon game?
My game. I don't even know what my game is. I played so many games this year.
My game of the year, if we're just talking about 2022 games, was probably Vampire Survivors.
Yeah, same here.
To be honest.
Shit.
That was the game I enjoyed the most.
I don't even know what my game of the year is. I do not know.
Wow, what a cop-out. You fucking chose this topic.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't even,
I know.
You didn't take the time to think about it?
I took the time to think about it, but then I was like, oh wait, also no, but I really like this game. But I also really like this game.
Okay, go through your top 5.
Okay, my top 5 is probably one Crisis Core. I would lump them both together in both Ori games. I haven't beaten it yet, but Tales of Arise is starting to get better, and I'm starting to like Tales of Arise a lot more. Let me look at my shelf. I got my shelf. Hold up.
Did Rise come out in 2022?
Yeah. Oh no. Sunbreak came out in 2022. Rise is also probably on there until the end game, which sucks. I don't want to be a cop out and say Monster. I don't want to be a cop out and say Monster Hunter though.
Yeah, I wasn't able to say Ark. Fuck you.
Yeah, I can't. If she can't say Ark, I can't say Monster Hunter.
That's fair.
Actually, I know what mine is. Chris Tales. Actually, Chris Tales is probably my game of the year. I have continued to sing the praises of Chris Tales. It is a indie RPG game.
You told me about that.
Yeah, it is an indie RPG game.
Oh wait, no, my other friend told me about that.
It's so I love it so much.
Don't they have like a cool job system where you can like divest levels and reinvest levels to like jobs, or is that a different?
That's a different game. Chris Tales is a time-based RPG where the time plays both into the story, the game mechanics, and also battle. So for one of the coolest things about the game that I tell everybody to like show how fucking
visually very interesting.
To show how interesting the game is in battle. The main character, she can invoke time crystals to change stuff in battle. For example, let's say you poison an enemy. If you put them forward in time, the poison hits immediately because obviously they've been poisoned. Or if you hit like a metal enemy with water and then send them forward in time, their armor is rusted and they take more damage. And
that's pretty cool.
It's so cool. Like I never get tired of the combat, even though the grinding is excessive in that game because you need a lot of money for a lot of shit. But other than that, like it also says a lot about the combat where I have to grind, but I'm never bored by it. Like I'm never bored with the combat. I mean, sometimes until you like the biggest thing is getting more abilities to see like, oh, it was some of the most exciting things in the game where I get a new spell. I'm like, I wonder what this does in battle. Or like, I wonder what happens if I invoke a time, like a past crystal or a future crystal. I want to see what it does, like almost immediately. Like it's such a unique game, and I love it. And I have the poster on my wall
Oh, nice.
because I love it so much. But yeah, it's so good. I love it. I will, if you're an RPG fan, I would always tell people to play Chris Tales. It might not be for everybody because the combat's kind of slow and the game starts off really slow. But I agree with Crisis Core Final Fantasy. Yeah, I cried a lot.
I remember you saying that.
I cried a lot at the end of Crisis Core. No spoilers. I mean, even though the game has been out for like 20 plus years, but whatever. I'm not gonna spoil it just for the case the people. I know some people still want to play it in case they see it. Like some of my friends still want to play it, so I'm not gonna spoil it.
Sure.
But a lot of the quality of life improvements of Crisis Core are just mwah. That, and Zack Fair is one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters just because of his morals and like how much what he stands for, right? And it's so great. And there's a lot of other shit that I would talk about, but I can't spoil it. So, before we go to our favorite and least favorite genres, I will tell the story of how I cried. So, my brother was watching me play through the game because he watched me play through Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna play Crisis Core. Do you want to watch me play this?" Yeah. So we get to the ending, credits are rolling, and he's like, "Wow, that's a really good ending." And I'm facing away from him, facing my wall, sniffling, like trying not to let the dam break, and it breaks as soon as he's like, I'm like, yeah, and you could hear it in my voice, and he's like, yeah, and he's like, are you okay? And I just thought, I'm like, no, and he's like, what's wrong? And as soon as he asked me what's wrong, I just, poof, the dam breaks, and I burst into tears, and I cried for like 10 fucking minutes. Like, he's hugging me, and he's just like, it's okay, it is really sad, and I'm like, I know it. I'm trying to do like the cry talk. I'm like, it's just my favorite game. It's my favorite character, and I love him so much. I love Zack so much, and you know, there's a lot
Pokemon Scarlet.
There's a lot of things that I love about Crisis Core and Zack and all this other shit. I'll probably DM Blue after this stream and be like, yo, we need to talk about this.
Bro, we need to talk.
We can cry together. It's okay.
Scarlet was fun. Scarlet was
very fun,
and I think it should be noted that you can like a game a lot and it still have problems. Yeah. You know, it's fine. You know.
I'm just happy that there was a cloning exploit. That's all I need.
Throwback to Gen 1.
Yeah. I have a box with 30 Koraidons in it.
Oh my god.
Do we want to do best and
I'm
worst
gonna
game
lose
genres?
friends here.
I don't think you're gonna lose friends. I think I can start. Favorite and least favorite game genres.
Oh,
I think my favorites. I talked about this earlier today. It's RPGs, action, adventure, and roguelikes. Shockingly, no, it's
All
no.
solid.
I would say my least favorite is probably racing. I don't like MMOs, and
Hmm.
I'd say that that's maybe it. If I had to give a third one, it's not like it as a whole, but probably most shooting games.
I'll agree
Like
with you on that one.
PvP shooting games, I don't like. I like PvE stuff like Borderlands, like all that stuff. Like I like those. I don't
Right.
like PvP shooting games.
Agreed.
But yeah, so like that's basically my three picks. RPGs is not a surprise, shocker.
Right, yeah, you are
are
kind
you
of
sure?
it's in your name.
Ragnarok RPG.
I wonder.
I'm kidding. I tricked you all. It's my least favorite.
Oh no.
He's role playing a person who likes role playing.
Yeah, exactly.
And he hates it.
It is the trick. It is the trick that everybody was not expecting. One of you guys can go next.
Sure,
Okay.
Liz, do it.
So my favorite survival adventure games,
Mhm.
obviously Ark. Like I love survival games, love adventure games. Um, Open world is also another category I really like. RPGs and rhythm. I love rhythm games.
Yeah,
Freaking
yeah.
love rhythm games. My least favorites, and people are gonna get mad at me for this one, but Sims games.
I can see it.
Don't understand the hype behind like Power Wash Simulator, Truck Simulator, freaking Airplane Simulator, PC building like there's so many Sims games that I'm just like I don't get the hype. Like I've played a little bit of Power Wash. I've played House Flipper is another one. I used to love Zoo Tycoon. Like I was obsessed with Zoo Tycoon and Roller Coaster Tycoon when I was a kid, and I went back to them recently, and I'm just like I don't understand why I loved these so much. They just
Yeah.
don't hit for me anymore.
Your childlike imagination has faded.
It's withered away.
Yeah.
I also hate battle royales.
Destroyed by capitalism.
Damn you, capitalism.
Most people don't
battle
like battle
royales,
royales.
sports games, MOBAs, and MMOs. Those are all my least favorites. Yeah, I just I don't get the Sims game thing.
I make the argument for, well, not the argument. I say for Sims. I think a lot of the cases for most people, at least that I know, they play it because they're really simple. Just turn your brain off. Just play a game. It's basically just like just play a game. You just get to play a game. You don't gotta think too much. You don't gotta. Sometimes that's what you need. You just need to turn your brain off. Just play kind of game.
Yeah, and I get that. They're just I don't for me. I don't see the appeal. Like Ark is that kind of game for me. I can just like sit there, build something, go, have fun with some dinos, and like I don't have to think all that much.
Right.
But I'm still, actively doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Sims games, it's just like I don't. It's just not for me. I get the appeal. I get why people like them. I just not for me.
Okay. You want to go next, Wolf?
I guess. I'm also an RPG fan. I enjoy story-driven games, and RPGs are bad unless they have a good story.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time they focus on stories. Other than that, I like action games. I think action games kind of fill the hole that a lot of people use MMOs for me. Because I feel like MMOs are very rarely about the game. I guess there are a couple exceptions. Like some people like to play Final Fantasy XIV because they like reading a book. I would suggest just reading a book, but I guess if they want their subscription service novel, that's on them. But I think people want like the social interaction and I can get that and be like a lot more intimately socializing with the people I specifically care about in like a PvE multiplayer action game.
Yeah.
So I enjoy those more generally. Things like Monster Hunter, even Borderlands, I guess.
Yeah.
I also I've been playing Devil May Cry 5 again.
So good.
That game's super sick. So there is something about the gameplay that's enticing to me. But it's like I with multiplayer games, I get the socialization of an MMO, and I actually get to play a good video game at the same time. So it's like the best of both worlds.
Without having to deal with hundreds and hundreds of people.
Yeah,
and being in a guild and all that stuff.
I think that's where I always fell short in MMOs, because I never wanted to join a guild or a free company or anything, and I always blocked everyone who tried to RP with me in the fucking general. I guess if you're that deprived, then maybe MMOs are a good thing for you. But I don't know. MMOs definitely aren't for me either.
Yeah.
And then as for other things, strategy games, things like Civ and the big long strategy games like that, I do not have the attention span for. I cannot do it. Even turn-based strategy RPGs, things like Fire Emblem,
and Disgaea,
it's kind of fallen. Yeah, it's kind of fallen out of favor for me. I like Disgaea more than Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem is a weird dating sim.
Yeah.
And I'd rather just play Honeypop, honestly, than play Fire Emblem. If you want a dating sim, that's a funny puzzle game, and you get to see bad DeviantArt. It's I don't know, it's a good time. It's funny, but I like the old Fire Emblem games, but those are I don't know. Now I'm struggling with myself. I should have thought about this before we started it, but I like the story in the old Fire Emblem games, and the new Fire Emblem games do have a story, but I don't know. It all feels like the story feels like a means to the dating sim, and instead of being its own thing. And that may not be true. I haven't really tried to play a Fire Emblem game since Awakening, so that might not be true. But I generally don't have the attention span for strategy games.
Are there any other genres that you don't really like?
PvP games make me mad.
But I love and hate fighting games. Yeah, you like fighting games, but you also hate them.
I like one-on-one PvP games. But multiplayer shooters, I feel like...
Not really.
Yeah, I'll play them, and then I fall into the trap of blaming my teammates when something goes wrong. Which is probably also true, but it really hinders me from improvement when I always have a scapegoat. So the one-on-one games are much better.
I forgot to also add fighting games into my category, but I also forgot RTS. Stuff like Disgaea I really like. I like Tactics Ogre and I like Final Fantasy Tactics. I don't really like Fire Emblem because in lesser terms it's basically just become a weeby dating sim is essentially what it is. So it's not really fun to play anymore. And I like Disgaea just because of how first off, the story behind it is really cool.
Disgaea is a bit more weeby, but it's not a dating sim at least.
Yeah. And I also have fun just making, because Disgaea is such an over the top RTS, but characters can be level 9,999.
It's not an RTS. It's turn-based.
Turn-based, whatever.
Turn-based strategy.
Turn-based, whatever. Yeah. Same shit. What's the difference?
RTS is like StarCraft.
Real-time strategy.
Yeah, no turns.
Kind of shit.
Everybody.
Your APS up.
To be fair, it's not turn-based if you're the one always winning.
What?
I don't know. I'm just saying shit. Don't ignore me. Ignore me. I'm just saying shit.
Wait a minute.
I skipped straight to the winning. I skipped the turns and skipped straight to winning.
I should try that. That
Yeah,
does sound like a good strat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's playing chess, just takes his king and like throws the other one
Yeah,
off and puts it there like, I win.
I win.
No turns, I win.
I just take the other person's king and just throw it at them in the face like I win. I win. I'm the chess champion. I win.
Like, okay.
Next question. Is there anything specific you guys want to talk about, or?
Not really. I think we covered like everything that we wanted to talk about.
Or like any questions?
I got one question. If the answer is no, then we don't have to talk more about it. But
Okay.
like I was mentioning, I played Devil May Cry 5, and then Hi-Fi Rush came out, and I was playing that yesterday. And that game is fucking cool.
Yeah.
Have either of you played Hi-Fi Rush?
I am probably going to start. I don't have it. It's on Game Pass, but it's cloud streaming for Xbox One, and I'm kind of nervous because you have to play it online, and especially in a rhythm game. Yeah.
What the fuck? Why would that be? I don't know. I have PC Game Pass. I got it for a month for $1.
Well, I mean, I have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, so I have it on both. So I will probably just play it on PC and see if my computer can run it. It shouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah. But it's a rhythm game?
Yeah.
It's a rhythm action game, so it's very similar gameplay wise to like a Devil May Cry game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. What's it called?
It's called Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh.
And
I think I might have heard about this one.
It's got a crazy catalog of licensed music. The first boss was to a Nine Inch Nails song.
Oh, wow. Really?
There was a chase sequence to a fucking Number Girl song. I don't know if there's any like J-Rock heads out there, but Number Girl is completely out of left field. I was super surprised to see that. So it's really cool. They've got really good music. It's just like a really
I've seen gameplay
on the action game.
Yeah, it looks so sick. I'm so excited to play it. It looks super cool, and my friends talk nothing but highly of it.
It's got a really interesting like set of solutions to problems I had with Devil May Cry games. Like for instance, in combos in Devil May Cry, there are like delay combos. So sometimes they'll say like, "Oh, press Y, comma Y." So you have to like pause a little bit.
Oh.
And that timing is never super clear, and sometimes it like varies from character to character. It feels like. And Hi-Fi Rush making the combat also all a rhythm game makes it much easier to like have concrete knowledge of when you're doing a delay and when you're not, because you can just rest for a beat and then do it. So all of the combos happen on the beat. Even if you press the button off beat, it'll delay until the beat to actually hit. So everything happens on the beat. All of the enemies attack on the beat.
That's really cool.
I'm
gonna add this to my wish list. This looks really cool.
Yeah, I really like that game, and I hope to beat it soon. It seems like it's pretty short, but that's like for Devil May Cry kinds of games, that's pretty common because they expect you to just like play through the game over and over again and get better at it and unlock all the abilities and stuff. But it's very good. I do suggest it if you like character action games.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it at some point.
Speaking of like rhythm kind like based games, this one's like kind of underground and not I haven't talked to anybody that really knows anything about it, but it's called Billy Bust Up. And it's not out yet, it's in pre-alpha. But it's like you're this little goat character with this little fox friend, and you go through these levels, and there's like musical bosses that you have to beat like to a rhythm and dodge attacks and parry and all that stuff. And there's a little axolotl guy that like teaches you about all the mechanics. It looks so good, and they have a demo out. It is so cute. I can't wait for this thing to release. But you guys should check it out. Everybody should check it out.
I'll look into it.
Get it hyped.
A development stream 9 days ago.
Ooh.
4 hours of Unity.
The one game that I'm excited for when it comes out is Sea of Stars, and it's basically a RPG that is more akin to Chrono Trigger, and everybody who knows me knows that I love Chrono Trigger. So any game that is like it, I will try my damnedest to play. And it looks really cool. The art style is really great. Like, if you have time, look up the Sea of Stars like trailer. It looks so fucking cool. And I'm gonna lose my mind when it comes out, because I'm gonna vanish from because I'm just gonna want to do nothing but play Sea of Stars all of the time because it looks just so great. There's a lot of.
I'm gonna check that out.
It just looks super pretty.
Sea of Stars.
All right, I got nothing else to talk about.
Me either. The stream is fantastic. I don't think anybody's in chat, but they could ask us stuff. I want to try to push us to an hour and a half at the very least. But if not, then we can just skip cutscene and just end the stream and hang out if you guys want, or do whatever you guys want to do. What would you? I guess I can ask a few questions. What would you say is your favorite song? Like, not just like favorite soundtrack. Like, what is your favorite song? Like, what's the first song that comes to your mind when you think of just any music? Period. Like any video game music.
Xenogears World theme song.
That's
Xenogears World theme song.
That is one of the best versions.
The first thing that popped into my head.
That is probably the best version.
Basil Geese. But yes, I fucking love Xenogears World theme song, especially when you mount him and everything goes silent except for the drums. Well, not silent, but muffled except for the drums. Oh, it gets me hyped every time. I love it.
It is probably the best version of his theme to date.
Love it.
It's so good.
I have a slightly different answer.
Okay.
Setting Sail Coming Home from Bastion.
Oh, yeah.
You played Bastion?
I played a little bit of it.
Okay. That's like
They're really good things.
I won't spoil it, but it's a super cool song, and it's like woven into the narrative. If you like narrative-based games, I do highly suggest Bastion. It's made by the same devs as Hades.
Hades, yeah.
Okay.
It's very good.
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same composer, Darren Korb, as Hades. So the music is very good.
Like the game company they have had nothing but bops. Like every single game that they have made has been amazing.
Supergiant is the fucking like prodigal studio. It's crazy.
They're always good.
But Bastion's like an isometric action beat 'em up while someone's reading you an audiobook.
Oh, really?
It's incredible. I enjoy it a lot.
Sounds enjoyable.
The first song that comes to my mind usually is probably Terra's theme from Final Fantasy VI, because I'm a fucking nerd, but because it's the song that I love the most, and also I'm probably gonna fuck up the name of this song. It's like Aria Day something. It's from the it is from the opera scene of Final Fantasy VI, and it is one of my favorite video game scenes of all time. So usually that's the first song that I think of. And in terms of for that, and also like battle themes, I really like. Obviously, it's no shocker to anybody who has played it, but Penny's battle theme in Scarlet and Violet goes so fucking hard for no reason,
slaps.
And also,
is that the Toby Fox song?
I think so.
He did a couple of them.
I think he did the.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
I think he did the Raid song.
He did.
To be fair, one thing, I mean, obviously everybody's like, oh my god, Pokemon. but like one of the things that Pokemon never misses on is its fucking
It's music.
soundtracks. Its
Oh
music
my
is
god.
always a banger.
Always. I
It's
don't
like
think
that.
there's been a Pokemon song that I've heard that I didn't like. Like they're
Slight
always
spoilers,
good.
I guess, for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but also the Professor's battle theme is fucking lit. Like,
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely. Another, obviously, Cult of the Lamb. I've already said it a
yeah,
million times, but seriously, their music is amazing.
yeah, I really like
Silk
the music.
Cradle is my favorite for sure. Breath of the Wild was brought up. It does have beautiful music.
Yeah,
It has really great ambient music. Once you play it for like long periods of times, it can kind of get like it can drone on a little bit, but
it eventually
it's
ends with you
still.
just kind of like turning on Spotify and just playing the game.
I will say I don't think I've ever done that.
I've done it a few games. If I'm grinding in an RPG, then I'll turn on my own music and just play. But
That's fair. That's fair.
what game was I thinking of? I was thinking of another game. Uh, about soundtrack, but obviously like Pokemon's really good. Most of the Final Fantasy soundtrack is very good. Some of the well, every game maybe has like one really good song in the early games, but the one, two, and three soundtrack are kind of meh. They just kind of exist. There's like one good song on each of those soundtracks, and the rest kind of suck. After four is this when the soundtrack gets really good. On the topic of Final Fantasy, I think all of us have played 10. So I think that all of us can agree that, at least to me personally, Final Fantasy X probably has the best battle system in Final Fantasy. At least in terms of like 1 through 10, I think it has like the best battle system because
I
of
think 10's
how
really the only one that I played.
I just really like 10's battle system. It's
That's
really
fair.
nice and it's very fluid. And everybody at the start of the game serves their purpose, and then once you get to the point where everybody's like basically halfway through the sphere grid, they can basically do whatever the fuck you want them to do. But other than that, it's really fun. I don't really
Yeah,
like the
by the end
story.
of Final Fantasy X, they had like super boss mechanics for normal bosses,
Yeah,
which was kind of cool. It
yeah,
really made you like have to think about your boss fights
yeah,
at the
exactly.
end.
Unless you like do a super hard grind and then you're super powerful and you just don't, you just kill everything in like 2 hits because there's not many things that can survive your maxed out attack,
I
your
feel like
maxed out Celestials.
you could still get fucked up by the zombieism shit.
Oh yeah, because they can hit you with
But well,
oh
I
yeah,
mean, if
Zombify.
you one shot things,
Yeah,
I guess like if you do get the weapons that like unlock
the
your
Celestial weapons
your
and all that.
damage limit, yeah, you could probably just one shot things before mechanics mattered. But
Yeah,
that's no fun.
yeah. That's like end game shit, of course, that you'll probably end up doing. But you don't really do that. You don't really think about that early game or like even mid game.
Yeah.
Um, I actually have a question for you, Wolf, that I think is interesting. So everybody argues and complains that Final Fantasy 13 is linear, and I also say that Final Fantasy 10 is linear. What makes you think? What? How do I word this?
Why do people like 10 and not 13?
Yeah, why do you think people complain about 13's linearity and not 10's?
That is an interesting question. I think people complain about 13's linearity. One, because it's like literally a straight fucking line.
Yeah.
It's unavoidable. There are some things you can do in a video game to like obfuscate the fact that you are traveling in a straight line.
Yeah.
Namely, putting turns in the line, which Final Fantasy 13 had an issue doing.
There would be like a really small section, a chest, and then you just go right back to the main area.
Right. And honestly, I think part of what lended to like the breaking down of the illusion in Final Fantasy 13 was that the map didn't hide anything from you in that game.
Yeah.
Like you would load into the area, you'd look at the map, and it would be a straight fucking line.
And I think they tell you where everything. They tell you where all the chests is at, where the save points are at, and
yeah, and like I actually I appreciate that they did that because I don't like missing things.
Yeah.
But also, I don't remember really if there was a map in Final Fantasy X or not.
I think that there is a mini map, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really serve a purpose until you get like later on in the game where you have a lot of open areas. But for the most part, it doesn't really matter.
Well, and also in Final Fantasy X, you could go back at any point.
Yeah.
And
there was only
13,
maybe like 2 missable sections, I think, like 2 sections that you can't go back to, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I was just playing through it casually, so I didn't really think about it. I didn't even go back and like complete the monster catch lists or anything.
Yeah.
But I think part of the problem with Final Fantasy 13 was that there were so many points of no return.
Yeah.
Like literally every time you watched a cutscene, you could never go back to where you came from.
I think it was up until the point
kind of feel like just a straight line.
Yeah, it was up until the point to when you unlock the basically open area. Is every point before that was basically missable. Like you couldn't go back to those points.
Yeah,
and it was not great. And
also the progression in 13 was like confusing. The progression in 10, I will admit, was also confusing, but you didn't feel like you could do any wrong. The progression in 13 was also linear, like as linear as the game itself.
Yeah.
You could only go along like 3 trees. Sorry,
well.
Hello?
Oh,
hello?
Okay, sorry. My computer keeps falling asleep. 13's level up system itself was linear. 10, you could kind of like make decisions.
Yeah.
You felt like the decisions you made with your characters mattered because you were actively using the abilities you were unlocking.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas like 13 kind of played the game for you.
Yeah,
most of the time.
Like also like the battle systems are also very drastically different. I never got tired of battles in 10. And you get tired of 13 battles very quickly. like,
and also it's so weird because when you start to struggle in 13, you realize that like you are not in charge of your own destiny.
Yeah.
Like if you're playing Final Fantasy X and you struggle with a fight because you don't have like Thundaga or something. Like, you know what the problem was? You didn't fucking unlock Thundaga before the fight. Like, you could have done something different. You could have altered your destiny in some way. In Final Fantasy 13, if you're struggling with a fight, it's kind of like up in the air as to whether that was your problem or not.
Yeah, like the boss that you fought last time, where you had everything maxed out for the point that you could be at, and the boss just fucking nukes you and you die, and you can't do shit about it.
Yeah. I got to the part where like you fight the Pope, who's actually a god, and that fight was ridiculous. I stopped playing the game.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't worth it to me. Also, that game you have to like read a fucking novel to understand the story.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go into the menus and read things to, like, get definitions of words that characters are using constantly, which I guess is fine, but it's definitely more effort to go along with the story in 13 than it is in 10. And, like, I don't think linear games are bad if you're being carried through a good story.
Right.
And 10's story was definitely confusing and made very little sense, but also they didn't like expect you to know anything more than what was in cutscenes.
Yeah.
Whereas 13 expected you to watch a cutscene, then read something that defined words that they used in that cutscene, and somehow like retroactively
piece it together,
piece the context together, which is like way more effort than anyone who just worked 8 hours and came home and played a video game wants to put in. So 13 did a lot wrong.
Yeah, I will ask one last question to both of you before we end the stream. At what point in a game, it could be any emotion, whatever, where you just kind of maybe you think you're having fun, and then maybe at a point you just sit back and you're like, wait, I'm not actually having fun. Like, what is that point for you? Like, maybe it's like combat's not fun, or maybe you're like, wait, I don't like the characters, the story's kind of lame, uh, gameplay's not very great. Like maybe the world is empty or whatever. Like, what is the point for you where you're just like, this game isn't fun anymore?
You should talk, Liz. I've been talking too much.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't really ever, I can tell pretty early on if I'm going to like a game or not.
Yeah.
Like, within the first, I don't know, hour or two, I can be like, all right, I could get down with this, or this is just not hitting anything for me. I'm gonna sit this one out. So I never really, it's either I love it or I hate it. There's no real in between where I'm like, I've been playing this game for 5,000 hours, I'm done. Like, I've played Okami so many times.
Yeah.
And I love Okami.
Fucking good.
Right? And that's a game that I will always go back to and I will always play. Like, I can't think of any game that I've played and then I go back to and I'm just like, no.
I think the point that I hit that is there's a lot of different points, especially in RPG moments where like maybe I don't like the characters or I don't like the story, but a part of me is when I just kind of zombie my way through the game and just kind of play it and then I just kind of like snap out of it and I'm just like, wait, this game isn't fun to me, It's the point where like I'm not connected to anything is when I realize that I'm not having fun, which obviously could be made. The argument could be made like, well, that's obvious. If you're just kind of just like playing the game and you disconnect from it and you're like, then it's not fun. But sometimes there's a lot of games where you just kind of play them and you don't really focus. It's especially worse in RPGs where there's nothing keeping you attached to the game, where you're just like, this isn't fun. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 does that, where I just kind of play it and I'm like, I'm not having fun anymore. It's like the characters aren't really great, the story is not really great, the characters aren't very fun, the music is kind of meh. And Xenoblade Chronicles 2 would probably be the main example of that for me specifically. And I was kind of like that about at the point that I was at Tales of Arise, where like everybody's just keeping secrets and you're like, oh my god, just tell your tragic anime backstory already so we can get the shit over with. Because we know you're going to have a tragic anime backstory, so just get it over with so that way we can keep playing the fucking game and everybody can move on. Like, I'd say that's probably one of the points for me, is when I'm just like, oh my god. I'm not having fun. I don't like the combat. Character sucks. Story sucks. Music sucks. There's nothing like keeping me invested in it.
Right.
So that's...
Yeah, see, like that, something like that, I can tell pretty quick.
Yeah.
In a game.
I give RPGs the benefit of the doubt. I do try to give RPGs the benefit of the doubt because obviously it's an RPG, Within 2 hours of Tales of Arise, you haven't even met half of the main cast yet. So I try to give it the benefit of the doubt. So I'm like, I'll wait. I'll play it out and see. I'm like 30 hours in and I'm like, okay, it's kind of picking up. We're starting to get backstory to characters and we're starting to get more mechanics and I'm starting to get more combos and characters are actually doing some semblance of damage so combat isn't taking forever. And that's, I'd say maybe about 15 hours in is when I was kind of like, oh, like this is so boring,
Right. Yeah, RPGs are very hit and miss with me because if it doesn't have like a good start, or if it doesn't like start out with a good character that I'm like, oh yeah, I like you, I'll hang out with you a little bit.
You need a hook.
Learn a little. Yeah, you need that initial hook, or I'm out. I'm just like, no, I'm out. But if you've got that, and I can stick around for a little bit, and you can build upon that character, introduce me to new fun characters along the way, like, good, great, that's amazing. But if you don't got me in the first couple hours, it's like, I've got nothing. I'm not gonna come back. No matter if you tell me, oh, but in 3 hours or 10 hours or whatever,
it's the anime,
it's the best character ever, and it's such a great game at that point. It's like, yeah, but it takes me so long to get there. It's the
anime argument. It gets really good at episode 28. Like, okay, but why do I have to slog through the bad shit to get to the good shit?
Right? Yeah. If I can't get into an anime in 4 episodes, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm done.
I will give it 4.
I'll give it 2. I'll give it maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But like for me, for RPG specifically, it's kind of like the beginning. Like what will I hook onto at the beginning? And
Mhm.
sometimes I do the middle, and sometimes in some cases the ending just kind of like makes it worth it. It just kind of it gives you like that feel good feeling of reaching the ending where you're just like, okay,
Yeah.
this made it worth the trip. It's very rare because depending on the game, you just suffer through the entirety of it, and you're just like,
Of course, of course.
like, but like the beginning.
You gotta get that accomplishment.
Yeah, the beginning of some RPG, like the beginning of, I will sing the praises of the beginning of Final Fantasy VI, and also like the beginning of Xenoblade Chronicles 1. It tells you everything you need to know about the world. And first off, the world in Xenoblade Chronicles 1 is fucking dope. Like,
it's so cool.
Yeah. it hooks you almost immediately. Like the first cutscene, you're like, "This is fucking dope. I want to see."
Just the wonder of the place that you're standing on.
Yeah.
Is enough to like carry you into the mid game.
It's basically like two giant robots that clashed and just like stopped, and you basically explore the two I don't know if they're still living. I assume that they're not, but the not living robots. Like it's the world. Like it's the two robots are the world that you explore, and they have like caves and they have like basically everything, and it's so fucking cool. And like you just get like if you look down off the ledge, it's just a bottomless abyss. Like if you fall, you're not gonna land anytime soon. Like you'll be falling for a while, and it's so cool. It's such a cool idea for a world, and it's why everybody praises Xenoblade Chronicles because they do for most of them they do world building pretty well. I think three kind of gives you the world building at the beginning. It's like, hey, they're warring factions, and then that's all they talk about for basically the entirety of the game, which I will knock points off of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 for that. And like, I mean, the characters at the beginning aren't very fun, but it also makes sense why they don't like each other because they've been raised this entire time to not like each other. So of course they're not gonna like each other. But it's still really annoying.
For an RPG, I feel like a good story can carry me through a bad game.
Exactly.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
If I like the story enough, I'll play it. Yeah, I'll play it. That's kind of how I felt about Xenoblade 3 for probably the last quarter of the game.
It is.
Like I was bored. I unlocked everything that I wanted to unlock, but I just wanted to see the story to the end, and it got me to the end, and I liked the game. And I think the opposite can be true as well. Like fucking what's a good example? Persona 5. Persona 5's story was like hit or miss at times, but the game itself was fun enough that like I never minded continuing on.
I sometimes reverse it. It's like you can have a good story and then bad characters just as the same as you can have a bad story and good characters. And I think sometimes
I wasn't even going for that distinction, but I definitely agree.
Yeah, but sometimes like if I can be carried by either or usually, but like the cardinal sin is when there's both, like when they're both bad, and the combat's just kind of like like combat can make the game fun, but if I'm not having fun outside of combat or like interested outside of combat, then what's the point?
Yeah, that's kind of where I got lost at Tales of Arise. To be honest, like the health bars were just so
oh my god,
cataclysmically large, and all of the enemies were just sitting there absorbing damage. I went from hard to I went from like the thing above hard to hard, and then from hard to medium.
Yeah,
and like the problem still persisted, and the story just kind of dragged on, and like at that intersection of 2 points, that's where I'm like, why the fuck am I playing the game? Like I haven't had a push from either the gameplay or the story for like 5 hours,
right?
And then I realized like maybe I could be doing something else.
Like I'm not saying that I'm trucking through the game at this point, but it is picking up, and characters are actually being characters.
Yeah, I'm sure I think Tales of Arise definitely had the capacity to hook me, but I I got to that point, I wasn't having a great time. Other shit was going on in my life, so I just kind of like forgot about it.
I'm not gonna want to have a not fun time in life and then go not have fun in a video game. You know, like it's just not. I don't want to do that. I play video games to escape my annoying ass life sometimes. I don't want to be dragged back into it by a game. And you're just like, yay, I'm not even having fun, so what's the point? But I say that wraps it up. And
thank you.
Yeah, I gotta eat.
Yeah, I also need to finish eating my burrito.
I wanna double back to the music because I didn't get to say what I wanted to say.
Oh, sorry.
Just really quick. So Ori, I loved Ori's soundtrack and the way that they kind of wove in
the main theme of it.
Into a little bit of everything. And I'd also like to point out that Ori, the director for Ori's, like the sound director, also does Ark. So that's a fun little tidbit.
Wow.
Right?
The gap. Right. Wow. Okay.
Right. Yeah. He also did something for Halo, but he has this. He likes to weave the main soundtrack or the main theme into a lot of other things, which I love. It just, and especially at like impactful moments or at the right moments, it hits so hard.
Yeah.
But that's all I wanted to point out.
All right. Well, I'd say this was a fantastic first stream, and I don't know how to end these, so I guess we can all just say goodbye, and then I will click the stop streaming button.
Yes. Have a good day, everyone.
Have a good night, everybody. Good day, everybody. See you later. Bye bye.